Tonight, from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, it's a special prime time edition of the NFL on EA Sports. We'll see Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Washington football team taking on Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions.
The weatherman got it right this time. Snow was forecasted and it fell and still falling at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. They love their football in this part. The crowd is ready to go as their guys will match up with the Detroit Lions. Hopkins has it on the tee, and here we go from our nation's capital. Khalif Raymond now. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their quarterback, the guy out of California, the former Cal Bear, Jared Goff.
And at one point, the ascension of Jared Goff was really, really strong. Back-to-back Pro Bowls, took his team to the Super Bowl and came really within one quarter of winning it. But since that time, he's had bouts of inconsistency, and that's been the struggle for him as he tries to get back to the form he showed earlier in his career.
And this will go for 5 up to the 33. 5 yards on the game's first play, second down.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Now a quick slant as the throw's complete. Goff on target to Hockenson for a Lion first down. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where...
And he's going to be taken down. Goff is sacked. Montez Sweat. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. They tried to go with a little play action there, but nobody on the defensive side bit.
Yeah, they adjusted in time and in a big way and ultimately got the sack. On offense, sometimes you're running play action just to set up a certain blocking technique. In this case, none of it worked.
Well behind the sticks here with a 2nd and 18. Goff a handoff here to Swift. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance and guessing. Because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
3rd and 2, Goff. And that's out to the flat for Swift. And they can't bring him down. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
That turns into a very well-orchestrated play right there. Going to work his way out of the backfield to the right. And after he looked it in, he found plenty of space to roam and picked up big yardage.
In Washington territory now. Here's 1st and 10 as they're down to the 29-yard line. Out of the gun, Goff. Open man is Quintez Cephus.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. On 2nd down, Swift. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. First down pickup of 8. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things.
They'll try and set up the screen to Swift. It's blown up. They'll lose yardage. Back at the 17. Despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. 2nd down.
Well, that play really didn't fool them. They completed the screen pass, but for lost yardage, a really nice play by the defense.
.13 yards remaining on 2nd down. Goff now looking to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down. And how about this first drive? They're being aggressive, slinging it around.
Really confident, too, because they're not trying to fool them with running plays, throwing it, and they're being very successful right now.
Here comes play number 9 now as they come up on a 3rd and 3. From the gun, here's Goff. Touchdown! It's complete. Quintez Cephus. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Lions take it right down and score on the opening drive. Quite the drive there to get things started. They took up the bulk of the first quarter, and they end up in the end zone.
And I love your last point. Ended up in the end zone. Because a lot of teams like those long drives, especially to keep their offense off the field, right? Keep the ball away from them. But they finished it with a touchdown. That's the exclamation point. Now, flip it over defensively. They've got to slow that down somehow, right? Maybe they need to be a little more aggressive. Maybe a few more pressures towards the quarterback.
The point after, no gimme in the snow, but it's up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. Sims going to go ahead and hold on to this one, and they'll start at the 25. So out comes the Washington offense onto the field. Leading them out is going to be their quarterback. That's the grizzled vet, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He's one of those guys that's been around the block a few times in the NFL, and at this stage in his career, when he lacks in big playability, he more than makes up for it in veteran leadership, a real knowledge of the game, and being a terrific locker room presence.
The first carry for the Memphis man, Antonio Gibson. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and no more. No gain on the play there, 2nd down. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Working out of the gun, Fitzpatrick. This one complete to Curtis Samuel. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be 3rd and less than a yard. We'll see what kind of mindset they have here offensively after giving up the touchdown on the opening drive.
And based on our time with them, prior to this game, I feel like they've got a good mindset going in. In fact, the discussion that we had with the coaching staff was, we may give up some points in this game, so our offense has to be ready each and every time to either equal or try and get us ahead and try and keep us ahead. This is their chance to respond to that first touchdown given up.
And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. First down, Fitzpatrick. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Curtis Samuel, the intended target, and it's second down. By the way, I got to apologize because I just realized for about the last 4 or 5 plays, I'm eking over into your territory up here in the booth. My bad. I'm going to get back over to my spot.
Yeah, we're not talking about our on-air commentary. I mean, what is all this extra paper? I mean, this is unusual for you.
My bad.
Normally you run a really tight ship. What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be third and less than a yard.
Well, it certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
10 yards there, good for a Washington first down.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big third down pickup to keep their drive alive.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. From the shotgun, it's Fitzpatrick. That's complete. Terry McLaurin with it. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. Another nice gain, 16 yards there, and a first down again.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
On 1st and 10, it's Gibson. And not much to speak of there. Maybe a yard down to the 20. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Pass caught left side by Humphries. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. They'll run with Gibson. And he picks up the first as he's able to take it down to the 7-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
Well, they just watched the other team take the ball downfield and score, so they knew that this drive, this opening drive, was on them. And, boy, that was important to pick up that first down there and keep this one going.
So another third down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. They'll run with Gibson. And that'll move him a little closer as he takes it from the 7 down to the 4-yard line.
And Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line, because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try to help against the run.
Second and goal from inside the 5. Gibson. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. Call it no gain that time, and now it's 3rd and goal. 2 minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game. A big play forthcoming. Here's 3rd and goal. From the gun, Fitzpatrick. And that is incomplete. Detroit was up for the challenge through the air. They force a 4th down. So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage, after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
And Hopkins' kick is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So a long drive gets him down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
And I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, that would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
Following the made field goal for 3, Hopkins now to kick it off. Here comes Khalif Raymond from his end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. DeAndre Swift heading back out with his Detroit teammates. We're in the second quarter. They've got the lead. The lead, though, not so much because of the ground game, because of their air attack, Charles.
So what they're seeing so far is the possibility of things loosening up later in the ground game. Through the air first, maybe they have to start respecting that even more as the game goes on, and then there will be running lanes to find later.
Yeah, try to get him more involved here on this drive, maybe. He was looking for Brashad Perriman, but it'll be second down. A shotgun snap for Goff. Throw right side, complete to Williams. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
Simple drag route here, lined up out left and tried to work his way back across the field. You probably saw me twitch there, partner, because I think he wanted the ball a little bit sooner. By the time he looked it in, defender was right on him.
From the gun on 3rd down, Goff. He's got his man, T.J. Hockenson. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. He gets 7 out of it, and he also gets a first.
That's a big conversion there on 3rd down because they did not want to give the ball up here late in the half. They'd love to take the clock all the way down and score. This will definitely help the cause.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. On the draw, Goff will give this to Swift. And not much doing. He'll get this only up to about the 36. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Here's 2nd and 9. Here's Goff. Hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Kind of a fine line when you're setting up a screen. You don't want to throw it too early to have the defense react too quick, too late, and that way it's not formed perfectly. Got to make sure you hit it just right.
After an incomplete pass on 2nd down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. Now Goff.
That's complete to Swift out of the backfield.
They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down.
The key to any screenplay is all in the deception. And that means everyone on the offensive side of the ball, but someone gave it up because that one wasn't very well concealed. And the defense able to rally to him and hold him for just a short gain.
Jack Fox out to punt here on 4th down. Steven Sims set to return it for Washington.
And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
And from that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb.
Washington going to go on offense now late in this first half. And with them trailing, there is still enough time to try to string a few plays together, maybe get into field goal range.
Fitzpatrick on 1st down. That's going to be caught by Samuel. And he's taken down, but able to get this up to the 20-yard line.
Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts
as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. A 1st down throw for Fitzpatrick.
Again, he'll find Samuel for the completion.
Now Washington going to use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Fitzpatrick.
He'll get this into the hands of Antonio Gibson.
And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46.
Now Washington going to go ahead and use their final timeout
as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. To the air again, Fitzpatrick. That's Samuel, caught left side. And it's going to be another 1st down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 43. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. So we have reached halftime with the visiting Lions taking the lead to the break. as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. It was a strong first half from the former #1 overall pick, Jared Goff. His guys have the lead as the white stuff continues to fall. And for the call of the second half, we give it back to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. This snow front that has socked much of the East Coast not going away as we are back to it in the second half. Steven Sims now on the return. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The Washington offense ready to go to begin the third quarter. It's been a tight game to this point. What do they need to do, Charles, to break through in the second half and take the lead?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is thank their defense for keeping them in this game. And you know what I think the defense is saying back to them? Why don't you guys focus on getting some first downs, put some drives together, give us a little bit of a break here. If we can get some rest, we'll play even better for you. And, oh, by the way, pay off a few of those drives with some points, too.
5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Fitzpatrick now. And Thomas has it. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. They picked up 5 yards last time. Now they double it and get 10 here.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
On first down, Gibson. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football. But that means if I want to run it inside, if you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. Here's Fitzpatrick. That's complete. Middle of the field to Humphreys. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. They were in zone defensively, went with a crossing route. It's always interesting to watch that chess match.
Yeah, and I think safeties don't mind crossing routes against zone because eventually you're going to run into their territory. And that's when they lick their chops in order to get the big hit or a play on the ball.
Offensively, nice execution to find a hole. Fitzpatrick now from the 50. And he finds McLaurin. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. Just his 2nd catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. Fitzpatrick. Throw right side is going to be caught by Samuel. It's another 10 yards on that one and another first first down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
On second down, it's Gibson. It's a first down and more for Gibson. And he is into the end zone for a Washington touchdown. 41 yards for Antonio Gibson. And Washington has taken the lead. Well, they've done a pretty good job keeping him in check to that point, but he finally breaks off a nice run here and gets into the end zone.
And it just takes one, doesn't it, partner? That can undo a lot of good work that a defense has done to that point. You break off one right there, and everything suddenly looks bad for you.
Dustin Hopkins on now to add the extra point. And it's through, and that makes the lead 10-7. So that drives 7 plays in length. And a pretty good run there in the end to top it off. Touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away. And it'll come out to the 25 as Raymond will elect not to bring it out. So we're going to look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. And they'll be working from behind now following the touchdown a moment ago on the opening drive of the half.
I think the guys right now, as they go out on offense, they're zeroing in on one big key. They don't have to do anything differently just because they're down on the scoreboard now. The intent, still the same in what they plan to do on offense.
Now a throw right side taken in here to start this drive. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. Successful start to the drive, 17 yards, and moves the sticks.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
Now Goff on first down. And this will be caught. Tyrell Williams. 7 yards to pick up there.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
On second down now, Swift, and he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Washington territory. It'll be a gain of 2 on the play, but they'll remain a few inches short here with third down looming.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
This one taken in by Cephas. And he is going to have a Lions first down, and he'll have it by plenty as they're able to keep the drive alive on 3rd and inches. Give him 7 yards on the play as they do pick up the third down conversion. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
On first down, it's gone. Open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hockenson. 5 yards on the catch there. Brings up second down. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Here's 2nd and 5 now from the 37. Back to the running game with Swift. And he's going to be stopped close to the first down marker at Washington's 12-yard line. It's 32. After a gain of 5, they'll wind up being about a length of the football short here on 3rd down. They'll stay on the ground with Swift. And he's going to have the first down yardage as he's down at about the 30-yard line.
I always appreciate runners who understand situations. That was just 3rd and inches. No reason to dance around in the backfield and try and break off a bigger play. Just go pick up the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Goff. And his throw is incomplete. The intended target, T.J. Hawkinson. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Ball on the 30 as they come up 2nd and 10. Back to throw, Goff. He'll find Swift out of the backfield. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
And Swift is not going to get there as they stop him short of the yellow line. Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on 3rd.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Will put this one through. And in the 4th quarter, this game is tied. Well, he was a spectator for much of this game. This is his first field goal opportunity of the entire contest, but he's able to connect.
Yeah, he had a pretty good seat to this one, didn't he? But let's face it, all kickers that you and I know, they want to contribute. They want their opportunity, and he seized his.
Now at 10 apiece as the kick's away. Here's Steven Sims on the return from his end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And we essentially have a brand new ball game. After that last field goal has tied us all up, we brace for what should be an exciting rest of this 4th quarter. They'll start on the ground with Gibson. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 78 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. A run here for J.D. McKissick. And 3 yards there takes him to the 45.
Look, all any running back wants is a little bit of room, a little bit of space in order to maneuver. But he also understands how difficult it is for his offensive line up front. So if they give him any space, he realizes his job to make more out of it than what they give him. Picks up 3 on that carry.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Here's Fitzpatrick. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete. Kelvin Harmon, the man he was looking for. And it's 3rd down.
Right now, the story of this game continuing to be the defenses, because the offenses, they're finding it difficult to establish any rhythm whatsoever.
I like how you come to us in praise of defense, Brandon, because that's exactly right. That was an incompletion force there, but we've seen it throughout this game. Both of these defense coordinators, they're a step ahead of their offensive counterparts.
And it's going to be another 1st down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 41-yard line. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
But we're used to seeing the guy that you consider the #1 receiver double covered, but how about this guy? He's double covered and finds a way to make the play for a 1st down.
That's how you increase your Madden rating, right?
No doubt about that at all. And you know something? I think we'll hear about that from him soon.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 41.
Fitzpatrick going to give to Gibson.
And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. Getting down to the good stuff. All tied with 2 minutes remaining on EA Sports. So it's Washington with the football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 2nd down now as they search for a score to break this tie.
On 2nd down, here's Gibson again.
And this time they were ready for him as they'll stop him right at the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, and now they go from 2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
Partner, you got about 20 coaches on your payroll, but there's 60,000 of them in the stands. I don't think any of them like that play.
And the later we go, it's starting to sound like 100,000 in here. Given the snow, you'd have to think they're likely not in field goal range just yet as they come up on a critical 3rd down.
A handoff for Gibson.
And this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll get it with just over 90 seconds to go in the ball game. And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good. And a costly one there as this game remains tied here in the 4th.
And Detroit back in possession of the football.
They need to get this around the 40 on the other side to get into field goal range. Look at the clock, a decent amount of time here in a tie game. What do?
No panic situation at all. They've got to get a couple of chunk plays, pick up nice bits of yardage.
Target the sidelines?
Target the sidelines because you want to get out of bounds and make sure that clock stops. Because if the clock stays running, that makes things that much tougher for you. It can always bleed out on you.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
The Lions need to move. They're hustling to the line now. Goff now to throw. And that
just their first INT of the ball game. Had his sights on it, but he couldn't seal the deal.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Goff. And that will be incomplete.
Well, the defense certainly did its job. They held up in that situation, and now 4th down, you've got to punt this and try to get to overtime. There's no decision to be made, in my estimation.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He gets us away. It's a good one, drawing toward the sidelines. And they'll play keep away from the returner, as this one will be marked out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Pretty good spot. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. And in the early going, the running game, as we see the numbers, it just wasn't on point. Well, now it's gotten more true to form.
And sometimes it takes a little while for an offensive line to get in sync, because early in a game, defenses throw different patterns at you, different formations, different sets, and you might not block them quite the way you want to, but as you start to get into a groove and you figure out what they're doing, now it all comes together, and that's what we're seeing right now.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Here's Fitzpatrick.
Thomas brings it in. And mark him down way up close to the 40 at the 39.
Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts,
as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Fitzpatrick to throw. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
He's trying to get it to Terry McLaurin. That'll bring up 2nd down.
I like the thought process there. They connected on a big play, and sometimes you find the defense vulnerable. So they went for the bigger shot, went for it all on that one. This time, they were ready for it.
So line of scrimmage, still the 39 on 2nd and 10.
They'll try the left side with Gibson. Oh, an excellent tackle there as they keep him in bounds and hold him to no gain.
Now Washington going to use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts, as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go in the football game.
An important play right here, 3rd and 10.
And I would expect pressure here.
Fitzpatrick.
He completes this one to Terry McLaurin. And it's going to be another 1st down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 41-yard line. A good pickup there of 20 yards. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left. And that one's not going to get there. Not enough juice. An ambitious effort, but it's well short. And a costly one there as this game remains tied here in the fourth. So the folks on hand here growing a little restless with their kicking game. That's now 2 misses so far.
And in a tight game, fourth quarter, the fans aren't the only ones getting restless, Brandon. There were a few looks of disbelief on that sideline as well.
And he is brought down, but not before reaching the 30. And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. And they will play it safe here and bring this one out to the 25. Detroit's offense ready to take over. They're set for their first drive here in overtime, and this is where the crowd can really become a factor.
They've had to battle it all day, but I know what you're saying. In overtime, that gets doubled, doesn't it? At least, because now the crowd really wants to be involved and help their team, and that first drive can dictate the whole thing because they know if this team takes it downfield and scores a touchdown, it's game over.
It's been loud in here so far.
That one tipped, and it's incomplete. Good hands there defensively, and second down. Second and 10.
Gone.
They'll find Williams on the slant.
And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. His 5th catch tonight, and it's good for a first down.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And with a flag down, he goes down. So they're able to sack him. Now the penalty looks like it could be holding. Let's find out. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
They get 14 yards, but not enough for the first down due to the previous penalty.
And that was yardage that they needed there after the sack on first down. They didn't get all of it back, but now they look at third down as a manageable situation, one that they have a much better chance of picking up.
And they need 5 yards on third down here to keep this opening drive of OT alive. Goff now to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. Well, I know you're toward the middle of the field here, but still, 4th down this distance, you got to punt it right.
That's definitely the first instinct because you say, okay, let's just play some field position, make sure we don't lose the game here, turn it over in a key spot. But if you feel really good about your trigger guy, if you feel great about him, you might want to leave the ball in his hands and let him work his magic.
Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback.
Another drive coming up for this Washington offense.
Their defense did its job, got the stop. All they need is 3, and this is over.
Couldn't have done much else other than score themselves and end it. But they turned it back over to them, and now all they need is a field goal to win the game. An excellent job by the defense. Can the offense finish things off?
Yeah, part 1 is done, now part 2. First play of the drive there is incomplete. The intended receiver that time, Adam Humphries. And now it's second down. Another nice job there defensively. They've really stymied their passing attempts, and it continues in overtime.
And for them to do that, that means they've had to be cohesive on defense. Pressure in the quarterback's face. Good coverage of not just the wide receivers, but the tight end, the running backs when they try and slip out, and making sure they're at the point of attack. When the ball's in the air, they get there and help force some of those incompletions.
And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 13 yards there at a Washington first.
I like the play design there. They occupied the defense downfield, everyone trying to account for someone. But unfortunately, they didn't account for the running back slipping out of the backfield. And he was absolutely unnoticed and wound up getting big yards on that play.
They'll run on first down. Gibson takes this one across the 35 to the 36, a gain of about 4.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They go back to the ground, this time Barber. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 15 yards the pickup, first down Washington. Interior of that line blocked really well on that run, but also the 2 tight ends, they blocked well too.
Not only have they scouted the line of scrimmage, but their agility, they can get upfield and hit moving targets like linebackers, defensive backs. They do a really good job helping out the running game.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Going quickly here to Thomas. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 11 more yards that go around, a first down as well. So he hooked up with a veteran there, and in overtime, that's not a bad idea. Go with the age and the experience.
Yeah, because sometimes the young guys, they give you the fresh legs and give you all that bounce. But in this type of a situation, sometimes those legs slow down a little bit as the enormity of the moment overwhelms them. The veteran guys, they tend to come through.
He gets it to Humphries. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys on plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch. I mean, when you talk about collectively, it's unbelievable. So their ability to move is practiced now. It's not necessarily, oh, he just took off and you guys figure it out. When he takes off, everyone knows where to go now. They know how to run routes, change things, make themselves presentable for the quarterback. It's a lot of time that they put in on it. It's not just your static 1, 2, 3. This is where the ball goes anymore.
On first down, right back to Gibson. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down. Now another timeout called for by the offense. They'll be left with just 1 remaining here at OT. Second and 8. Here's McKissick. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. Now third down is looming. A pickup of 2 on first down and just 1 yard there. And that carry probably not so much for yardage, just to get the spot that you want to kick the field goal.
And then the yardage game here is really kind of gravy. And this just becomes what my old coach used to say. Get into position to be in position. And that's what they want, the right spot for their kicker to line up the field goal.
Completes it to Samuel. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. Now the offense will burn their third and final timeout. It'll be their second and final timeout, remember, here in overtime. We'll be back. They'll try to run with Gibson. And he's into the end zone for the touchdown and the game winner in OT. We needed extra time to decide this one. The rushing score and OT finishes it off, but all throughout, really just a great game to witness.
I agree, and the whole time we were watching and working on this game, I had it in the back of my head. We could get to overtime. Just the way this game went, the ebb and flow of it all. And then to get there and finish it what I would call an old school way, a running play, because in today's NFL, we throw the ball to ring the bell, don't we?
Not there. They ran it in. And again, just a great, great game that we bore witness to. Well, partner, there's something special about a game in the snow. Just always fun in these elements, although a little chillier up here in the open-air booth. The only thing that's not fun is that we got the mid-game notification that our flight was canceled tonight, but we'll deal with that later. It was really a fun game to watch, though.
It was, and there is something special about games played in the snow because the element of surprise really kicks in. You don't know how they're going to handle the ball, if someone's going to make a dramatic play just out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it just changes the course of things. But a big shout out to our crew to make sure that we were comfortable up here, as comfortable as one could be. In these elements, they took care of us and made sure we were dressed properly.
So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon. I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.